Today is our first Education on Air conference. There are 46 Hangouts going on by educators all over the country, and all of our presenters have early access to Hangouts on Air, which allows you to broadcast and record Hangouts. You can watch any of the sessions today. For those of you who are watching on Molly's page, you can go to the presenter's Google Plus page at the appointed time, and you can find a list of all of the sessions and link to the presenters' pages at sites.google.com/site/EduOnAir. And I went ahead and typed that into the comment box if you guys want to go ahead and look at some of the other sessions going on today. There's a variety of sessions and topics that could interest you. So now for what we're all here for, I'm going to go and introduce Molly. Molly Schroder is a former 5th grade teacher. She is a tech integration specialist for Edina Public Schools in Minnesota, and she's been actively involved with our Google for Education team. So she is a Google certified teacher and a Google Apps certified trainer as well, and she also organizes and plans Google Apps for EDU summits worldwide. So she's the co-founder of an educational technology professional development company called Flipped Education. And she's also an avid skier, hiker, and reader. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, Molly.
All right, thanks. Welcome, everybody. I can see we've got a couple people on Hangout with us. If actually Michael and Roland and Emma, if you guys want to mute, then unmute yourself also when you have something to say. And please, we also, it looks like we have a bunch of viewers, so that's really great to see everybody that is watching us on air as well. So that's right, I'm Molly Schroder. I'm a tech integration specialist with Edina Schools, and I just do a lot of Google apps with classrooms. But one of the things that I've really found to be really helpful is to customize Google Chrome. We just launched a couple pilot classrooms of Chromebooks, and so teaching Google Chrome to the students has been something that we are interested in doing as well. We are heavily involved with Google Apps for Education at my entire district, and we like to really encourage it as the workflow. And so in order to do that and using Google Apps for Education and Google Docs, well, you also need to deploy Google Chrome. So that's been something that I've been doing a lot of. It's just sort of helping people understand the new browser of Google Chrome and how you can best personalize it, and people are really excited about that. So we're going to just talk through using Google Chrome, personalizing it for your use, and then hopefully a couple educational benefits. So the Hangout is going to be a lot about just using Google Chrome as your own workflow, and how you can sort of become a little bit more efficient, and then also how we can use it with students as well. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen here, and I think I popped over to this one. So are you all seeing Chrome for the classroom here? You can see my screen. Awesome. Great. Thanks. So let me pop back to it then as well. So this is just my contact information. I'm at Follow Molly, Molly Schroder on Google+, and then Molly Schroder at Flipped Education if you want to get in touch with me, and that will be listed in the slide at the end too. So a little bit about my stories. I work for Edina Public Schools. I became a Google certified teacher in 2008. Just last year we won a Google campaign about telling everybody about how we use Google Apps for Education. So we got our own fancy billboard in Minneapolis telling everybody that Edina Public Schools had gone Google. I am also a Google Apps certified trainer, put on a lot of Google Apps workshops, and then ended up starting my own company of Flipped Education with another couple Google certified teachers. And we don't really talk about flipping your classroom. We named our company about 3 months before that sort of trended in education. So we got a good story behind why we named it that, so we'll keep it with that as well. So why would you do Google Chrome? Why would you deploy Google Chrome within your school or within using it yourself? And really there's some really great ways. And the first thing is just its speed. So I really think that it's fast to start up. It really loads all of your web pages fast, and then it's really easy and fast to search and to navigate. And so I'll show you a couple of those ways that you can sort of keep more efficient with Google Chrome. Another reason that we really like it is simplicity. I don't know if any of you else are teachers out there that sometimes go into your teachers' classrooms and they have layers upon layers of toolbars that they have installed onto the top of their Internet Explorer browser or another browser, and they don't use it ever and they don't really know what it means. So the simplicity of Google Chrome is really helpful. Gives you some great navigation buttons and then allows you to really customize it. And if you can see up on my screen, you'll see a lot of these bookmarks that I have, a lot of the extensions, but it's in a really kind of organized, nice and neat way. So I love the simplicity of Google Chrome as well. The security of Google Chrome is great, so you can really browse confidently. It checks links for you. It will give you a warning before, but also you just don't really think that much about the security that much because Google is really just working sort of behind the scenes so much for you that it'll update or it'll warn you without you even really having to run any additional security software or updates. So in talking about Google Chrome, Google Chrome. Hi, Susan. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. I'm going to move yourself.
Okay.
Thank you. So we're going to do just talk a little bit about how to get started with Google Chrome. Obviously, it's something that you have to download, and you can download it from any browser. As long as you just sort of even type in Google Chrome, it will prompt you. It wants you to download it. And then one of the most fun things is after you download it, it'll tell you you're awesome. So that's a really fun thing. That's this first prompt. And then we're going to talk about search and the different ways that you can search using the Omnibox in Google Chrome. We'll talk a bit about tabbed browsing bookmarks, a little bit about Translate, and then try to get into some different web apps and extensions that I've found to be useful. There are so many web apps and extensions that hopefully that can be part of a discussion too, in which we hear a little bit from other people about some of them that they're using. Each day I read about a new one of how people are using them. So when you do download Google Chrome, it is interesting because there are different channels that you can be on with Google Chrome. So it's sort of the stable channel is obviously it's the one that works most often, but they do have a beta channel, a developer channel, and a canary build, which those are updates with sort of their labs within Chrome. So if you are interested in being on any of the other the channels, then you can sort of see what some of their next updates are going to be with the next release of Chrome. We usually try to have at least one computer or person sort of exploring within either the beta, the developer, or the canary channel as well. So a little vocabulary first within Google Chrome, and the colors sort of organized with this slide. But the first thing is this, the red box is the Omnibox. It's where usually the website address lives. But in Google Chrome, it's so much more than just where you type the address, because it actually becomes your Google search toolbar. So we'll talk a bit about the Omnibox. Up in green up here on the top is your tabs. So as you can see my tabs that I have up here on my screen, you can have different tabs for different tab browsing. And then you have your bookmarks. And your bookmarks live in this gray bookmarks bar, which actually doesn't look very gray since I filled my entire one up. But your bookmarks bar live right below the Omnibox. In a new tab page, you have all of your web apps. So your web apps live in a place where no matter what, whenever you open a new tab, that's where you get your web apps. In blue, over on this side, are your extensions. And your extensions are like little apps that sort of help you work a little bit more efficiently and faster. And so that's where your extensions live. Your extensions live, if you want to look up live up onto my screen, you can sort of navigate through your Omni bar and you can make it bigger or smaller and show more or less extensions depending on how many you usually use and what you like to see. And then you also have down here on the bottom too, you have a little bit of your browsing history with the most visits and then different pages that your web apps live on. So you have a good variety of ways that you can sort of organize and personalize just the Omnibox, the tabs, and the bookmarks. So we'll get to that a little bit. So let's first start talking about tabbed browsing. So tabbed browsing is obviously we can open up new tabs up along the very top of our browser, and you can have multiple web pages up at the exact same time based on me going through each of my tabs up on the top. This is actually something that we need to teach teachers, because sometimes people miss the fact that you can have tabs and having pages open, more than one page open at a time. So all of your tabs are also drag and drop. So if you are sort of organized person and like to have all of your things in a certain particular order, you can always drag and drop all of your tabs so that you can put them in a specific order. Okay? If you go to a particular website and you would like to put it into a new tab, or let's say that you're at the NewYorkTimes.com and you see that there's another website or an article that you would like to read, you can drag a website URL up into the new tab and it will open that new article in a new tab for you. Okay? So you can drag and drop the different links up into tabs. You can organize the tabs into whatever you would like to see. And then one of the last features of tabs that's really nice is the right click. And if you haven't ever right clicked on a tab before, the right click, and I'm not sure if you're seeing it right yet, the right click on your tab gives you a couple options, okay? The first one that I really like is called pinning a tab. And when you pin the tab, which you can actually see right here on mine, you're not seeing it live on my Hangout, but when you pin a tab, it makes the tab tiny and scoots it all the way to the left. And it will always stay open depending on if you close all of your other tabs. Your pinned tabs always stay open. So as you can see, I sort of have my Gmail always pinned. I have Google Drive, Google+, and then I usually have my calendar pinned. So you just right-click and pin the tab. You can reorganize and unpin your tabs as well. So if you always like to have your Gmail on one side and then you like to move it over to the other side, you can really sort of organize all of your different pins within your tabbed browsing. Okay? So when you right-click, okay, you can close that particular tab. You can close all the other tabs. You can close all the tabs to the right. But one of the things that I really like, if you can see here when you right-click, is bookmark all tabs. And that's a really helpful feature if you're in the middle of a huge project and you're really working on something important and you need to leave, but you want to open all those tabs again tomorrow morning. Because if you right-click and bookmark all tabs, it will actually create, and let me just do that really quick right now. I'll bookmark all tabs. I'm going to call it, you're not seeing this on my screen, but I'm just going to call it 5-2-2012, or whatever the name of the project is. And what you'll actually see, okay, is you'll see that a bookmark folder is created. Oops, sorry, let me pop back. A bookmark folder is created with the name that you gave it. And mine didn't create, so let me just try this really quick. Oh, here it is. I just put it under Edina, so that's the problem. So it got put under this Edina folder. Let me just drag that up here. So it creates a folder of all of the tabs that you had open when you bookmark all tabs. When you close out of this and you come back in again tomorrow, you can actually right-click on that folder and you can open all bookmarks in a new window. So then you just come in, you right-click, you open all the bookmarks at one time, and then you're back right working where you needed to be working before. So it's not something that I use all the time, but it's definitely a feature that's really a great feature when you are in the middle of a big project. So you can always recover old tabs as well using that right-click. So you can reopen a closed tab, and there's also a shortcut with the Control-Shift-T, and you can keep clicking Control-Shift-T, Control-Shift-T, Control-Shift-T until if you closed it like 7 tabs ago, you can continue to go backwards in time. So it's sort of like a browsing history of your tabs that you can always get to. So tabbed browsing, even though we sort of take it for granted that it's really easy, you can actually start organizing and managing your tabs, pinning your tabs, bookmarking all of your tabs that you have open so that when you return the next day you can get to them. Let me just see, does anybody have any questions about tabbed browsing that I could take?
I got a quick question, Molly, on the bookmarks. I've been kind of jumping back and forth between watching and going to my Chrome.
I know, you want to do it right now, right?
Yeah, I've got all my bookmarks in there, and I've got the little double arrow that opens up the rest of them. Then I've got another folder just to the right of it that says Other Bookmarks. Were those like imported from a different browser? What is that other
probably.
folder?
They're probably imported from something else, or I have something called extension settings, which you know, it just is in another bookmarks. But the little double arrow that's on there, that allows, if you run out of space on that top bookmarks bar, then it will start populating into that sort of double arrow.
All right, thanks.
Also, I should mention, too, that in order to show that bookmarks bar, and we haven't really gotten there quite yet, you have to have the bookmarks bar showing, and so I'll show that next. Anybody else have any questions, or Emma, are there any questions about tabbed browsing? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, we look good on the screen here. This is just a reminder. I know some people hopped in after we went ahead and got started. If you aren't in the live Hangout and would like to ask Molly any questions, feel free to just post a comment, and I'll keep checking that throughout the presentation.
Great, thanks.
Hey, Molly, one quick question
Yeah,
on the extensions. There are some extensions that you can download that will not appear in the, in that area by the Omnibox. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'll show you just a few of those when we talk about some extensions.
Okay, excellent.
Great, thanks. Let's talk a little bit about bookmarking. Let me find where we are. So let's talk a little bit about bookmarking, or let's talk about search next. This is one of my favorite pieces of Google Chrome, and one of my new favorites is Control-L. If you hit Control-L, that's a shortcut that will always bring you up to the very top into your search omni bar. So one of the great things that saves you a couple clicks, it's an efficiency of Chrome, is that this is no longer just where you have to write www.something, but what you actually just get to do is if you're interested in looking up information about Aspen, oh, if I could type, Colorado, then this has now become your Omni search. It's your search box. So I can just push enter, and it's as if I had typed in Aspen, Colorado in the Google search bar. So no longer do you even have to go to google.com and then enter your search bar. You just can enter anything that you want to appear. So if I needed to know something about snowboarding and I just clicked enter, then now it's just doing a Google search. So it saves you a little bit of time. And if you're ever reading or something, you could do the Control-L, and that brings you right up to the toolbar so that you can start searching right away. Now, one of my favorite things is I'm a big Amazon.com fan. I'm a Prime member, love searching Amazon. But I've even found a more efficient way than even just typing in Amazon.com and going to Amazon and then going to the search toolbar and typing in something that I'm looking for. So like with Google, this Omni search bar, now I'm just going to type the letter A and then space. And if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see it up close enough, but what it knows now is it's using this Omni bar to search Amazon.com. So I no longer have to go to Amazon, but I've set it up so that when I click, when I'm in the Omni bar and do A space, it searches Amazon. I've also set it up when I click, when I do YT space, now it's just going to search YouTube. I think I also have C space, which searches the Minneapolis Craigslist. So this is a really helpful tool, and it's really kind of quick with the way that you can type. So what you need to do, I'm going to show you how to do it with Amazon. And so if you actually go to Amazon, and you can do this for any page that has a search toolbar on it. Okay, so like YouTube, you go and you search for something. Craigslist, you go and you search for something. Amazon, you go and you search for something. So if I'm on Amazon.com and I'm interested in buying a Kindle, so I go on Amazon and I search for one thing, a Kindle. It can be anything that you're looking for. And up in the top right-hand corner, one of the parts of Google Chrome that everybody has is that you have the wrench. And I'm not sure. Can you see the wrench on my screen? You can. And in that wrench, okay, it gets you to the settings or the preferences or the options within Google Chrome. Okay, so you can't see it on mine, but I'm clicking on the wrench right now and going to settings. And that brings me sort of behind the scenes. Okay, and when I am in this Basics tab, one of the things that it asks me is if I want to manage my search engines. And if I click on Manage Search Engines, what it does is it keeps track of all the different places that I've been. Okay, oh, you're not able to see this. I'm so sorry. It doesn't show up on the sharing of my screen. But what it does is if you are in this place, you can see the other search engines. So it says I've searched something on Amazon, BH Photo Video, Brain Pop, Caribou Coffee, Digo, EduTraining.Google Apps. And what I do is there's a middle column that I just replace the letter A with the Amazon.com search engine. So you're not able to see it on mine, but it gives you a place that you can type a letter. I'll have to do a screenshot of this for my future presentations since it doesn't record on the video. So then what I can set up the YouTube one. I'm a big fan of woot.com, so I'm going to just set W for woot.com now. And then the next time that I am in my browser and I open a new tab and I do the A space, it should say now it's going to be searching Amazon.com. Okay? So that's a fun way that you can set up Google search to be a little bit more personalized for what you are working on. Now, you're able to see, okay, just the basics. So, and I'm changing my screen a bit, so I'm just going to pop out a screen share, and then I'm going to pop back in again and make sure that you're seeing the appropriate screen, okay? All right, we're back. So in the Omnibox, oh, this is what the search engine looks like. So this is where the Amazon.com would be, and the keyword that you put in is whatever shortcut you're interested in to have search for that. So that's really great. Chrome Instant is also something that you can turn on so that when you do have a new tab and you are searching for Aspen, it starts learning what websites you actually want to go to. So Chrome Instant just sort of says, okay, these are your either recent history or things that I think you're going to, or most people who start typing those letters go to a specific website, and so it's going to help you do some of that. The other thing that's great about Google Chrome is that you can highlight and search. So I'm going to jump back to that New York Times article, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm just going to find out, or I'm just going to say the American Embassy in Beijing. Well, let's say that I didn't know anything about Beijing. I can highlight, right-click, and then one of the options that comes up is search Google for Beijing. So you really have a chance to highlight and click, so instead of even typing anything, you just right-click and you can search Google for anything that you've highlighted. So that's a really nice feature. And when you were interested in some of the extensions that don't show up, sometimes the extensions show up in the right-click. So things like Pasty and Speak It, things like that, sometimes those are the extensions show up in the right-click as opposed to up on your toolbar up there. So search is really efficient when you're in Google Chrome. So you've got the Omnibox, you've got the search engines, Chrome Instant, and then highlight and search. Bookmarking. Bookmarking is great in Google because really all you have to do is you have to just click on this little star. And the little star up in your top of your Omnibar, it allows you to, when you click on it, it says, okay, which folder do you want to put it in and what is the name that you would like to give to this bookmark? And then you click Done. So this is your bookmarks bar right here. And mine is obviously highly populated right now, but I've also started making some folders of bookmarks to help me organize a bit. This was the one that we just bookmarked all folders. So I'm going to actually right-click and delete that real quick to give us more space. So in order, sometimes when you open Chrome, this bookmarks bar is not showing. So again, that you have to go into the Chrome, the wrench, and you have to go to Bookmarks, and you have to say Show Bookmarks Bar. Okay? This is also where you can do the Bookmark Manager, and you can sort of organize a few more of your bookmarks. So bookmarking, I think you all know about mostly, but if you can also see Some of these are longer and they have words by them, and some of them are just little icons, the little favicons. And so what you can do is if you have, let's do the New York Times. Let's bookmark the New York Times. So I'm going to click on the little star, and I want to say I want to add it to the bookmarks bar, and click Done. Well, my bookmarks bar is so full that the New York Times ended up coming down here, but I'm going to drag it up. And you can drag and drop any of your bookmarks so that you can organize them in whatever way you want to as well. But this New York Times website is just much too long up in my bookmarks bar. It's taking up too much space. So I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to edit. And I can actually just do NYT, New York Times, and click Save. And now that little New York Times is right there. But I actually know the icon well enough that I don't even need any letters. So I can right-click Edit, just delete the name of it. It doesn't delete the bookmark to it, and click Save. And now my New York Times icon is really tiny, and I can sort of organize it with some of the other icons that I have here. This one, anybody recognize this icon of Picnic? Well, we'll have to delete that one. Picnic no longer exists. But I'll show you there's a new fun site. If anybody has played with PicMonkey, that's my new favorite one. So anyways, so bookmarking is really nice because you can do your little bookmarks bar. If you want to start a folder, you just right-click in your area here, and you say you want to add a folder. And I can click that, and I can name my new folder Chrome Training. Click Add. Now, again, mine is over here in this. So I'm going to drag it up onto my bookmarks bar. And now if there's any website that I want to add to it, I click on the star, but now I say instead of my bookmarks bar, I want it to go into Chrome Training. And so now the website will live underneath Chrome Training. I can also drag and drop websites into my folder. And if there's one that's out here, like this Hamlin one, I can also drag and drop it into my folder so that you can organize it. You can always do that in the Bookmarks Manager up in the little wrench as well. So bookmarking is really awesome. I also even have folders within folders, so you can get, really a anal. But my favorite thing about the bookmarking and the way I teach this to teachers and students is because in this little Chrome menu or the Chrome settings, okay, you can see I'm signed in as Mal Schroder at Gmail. Any place that I go to Google Chrome and sign in as Mal Schroder at Gmail, I get all my apps, I get all my extensions, and I get all of my bookmarks. So it's worth signing in, and you can either do it here or you can do it in the settings, and you can see that I am in the personal stuff side. I'm signed into Mal Schroder. So that means wherever I am with Google Chrome, and this is really helpful on the Chromebooks too, because if you're on the Chromebooks and you're signing in to multiple different Chromebooks all the time, wherever you're at, you can always update your apps and extensions always come with you.
Molly, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, I was going to say, are there any questions about some of these?
Yeah, I had some students come into my lab here in the tech building, and they signed into their Google account, and so it loaded their theme, it loaded all their apps and everything.
Yep.
They left, they forgot to sign out. I disconnected them, but I'm still seeing their theme and their bookmarks. Is there a way to reset that?
To reset them? Are you signed in as your account now as well, and you have in the Chrome?
No, I haven't. They were in my lab, so I've got 24 machines in the lab.
Okay.
They logged into their Google accounts.
Yeah.
And then in Google, they sync to their account, so they've got all their apps, everything showing. Yep. When they left, I disconnected them so no one could mess with their
stuff. Yeah.
It still has their theme and all their.
And did you log in as yourself when you went back to that Chromebook, or you?
It's not a Chromebook. They just did this. They did it on the Mac computers that I've got in my lab.
And so now, if anybody opens.
If anybody opens Chrome, they're seeing their theme and all their. I didn't know how to reset that to a default.
I'm not sure. Emma, do you know anything about that? I haven't had to do that before. I think if you signed in, then you would, of course, would trump theirs. But
I don't want them seeing mine either.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. That's an unexpected behavior for me.
I'm the same way. I'm not positive about that, Will, and I can touch base with you offline.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
It's not harming anything. They don't have any access to it, but now every
yeah,
Chrome browser in my lab looks different.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, Okay, any other questions about bookmarking? Okay, we'll move on to apps and extensions, but please feel free to interrupt if you need to, okay? Excuse me.
Molly, we have a question here.
Sure.
So Emily asked on the comment stream, for someone who has just opened Chrome for the first time, what would you suggest I start out with?
For apps and extensions, do we think, or do we think?
I believe so. I'll double check, but let's start out with apps and extensions.
Okay, so that's good. That's a great leadway sort of into let's talk about some different apps and extensions that we can play with. So you find apps and extensions in the Chrome Web Store, and you locate the Chrome Web Store by just opening a new tab within Google Chrome. And you'll see that I have a bunch of different apps and extensions. I actually have 2 different pages of web apps here. But everybody who opens up will always see this Chrome Web Store right here at the beginning. So when you're at the Chrome Web Store, you click on a link. It's actually a link to a web page. And then you can either search all the different things on the left-hand side, the different, there's even an education sort of category. Or if you know the name of one of them, which I'm going to show you a few, then you can actually search the Chrome store for those, and actually they're not showing up right now on here. Oh, here they come. So flashcards and typing trainers, and these are all third-party people that are developing apps for the Chrome Web Store. So I'm going to show you a few web apps that you would be a good place for you to start. This is the exact same place that you download the extensions as well, or you install the web apps and install the extensions. But if you're only specifically looking for extensions, it is one of the left-hand columns that you can just search for extensions. But within here right now, this is a mix of some web apps and extensions when you actually do a search. These are the apps, but if you would do a search for something, then you find both web apps and extensions, okay? So what I have listed is I have actually some here that are really good ones, 22 useful extensions. And then we also have some interesting web apps. So just taking a look at this screen, web apps are a mix between a bookmark and a productivity tool. So some of your web apps like Gmail and Calendar and Docs, they're going to take you to your Google Docs or your Calendar. So it's almost like you have a bookmark that kind of goes directly to a lot of the Google things that you use. Picasa does the same thing. However, when you look at something like TweetDeck, if you use Twitter, there is a program called TweetDeck that you usually have to download to your computer. But when you download TweetDeck, it lives on your computer and not on the web. So what they've done is this TweetDeck app allows you to open TweetDeck in a browser. So you are in the Chrome browser and using TweetDeck. And it communicates back and forth between what you have on your computer and what you also have set up for in the extension. So I do have TweetDeck as something that I use. Another app that does a little bit more than just open a new web page is something like Chrome Speak. So Chrome Speak is actually an app that some of my 4th graders found. And when you click on Chrome Speak, it takes you to an app in which this will start speaking to you. Okay? So you can change a lot of different things. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it, but students copy and paste text into Chrome Speak and allow it to speak to them, and you can change the pitch and things like that. So that's a pretty useful one, especially for students who are sort of navigating through some tougher text or need some reassurance with comprehension by having somebody else read it to them. So Chrome Speak is another one that I would use a lot. So to just start out, I definitely get your Google tools like Calendar and Search and Picasa. Google's really working hard to do a lot of offline access for some of the things we have. So I have actually, offline Google Mail as well, and then I also have Gmail. You also just saw how I can reorganize a lot of these apps by just dragging and dropping. Okay? Pixelmatic is another one that's fun that is about photo editing. So it gives you kind of an Instagram type experience within the Chrome browser. And then if I go to my second page, these are a little bit some other ones that I have. Evernote, if you use that. But then there are games like Bejeweled and Angry Birds. Mathboard Edition is kind of like a MathFacts app. A timer is a really good one. That's the one that, you just say, okay, class, we have 15 minutes to do this you know, you're going to be, and then the timer will go off. And then there's graphing calculators. So there's a lot of really good ones. I can read my Kindle books online as well. So the web apps are good for you to just sort of start exploring. I put a list of web apps on the EduOnAir website of ones that you can click on that and find some additional apps that you might want to try and download as well. But I need to move on to extensions because unfortunately I'm going to have to we're going to have to wrap up at about 2:45 or 2:45 my time, 3:45 Eastern, as I have another hangout right after this one. But as we start talking about extensions, extensions live to the right side of your Omni bar, and they actually are little productivity tips. So if I was going to say, okay, here is my presentation that I have for students, and I wanted them to get there very quickly, one of the extensions that I use all the time is this one right here. It's called the Instant GOO.GL URL Shortener and QR Code Generator. So with one click, I've created an instant short URL and a QR code for the website. So if I'm in the lab with students, I just can put this up on the board and they can get to my presentation or website instantaneously by just clicking on that. I also do a lot of this with the QR codes for kind of surveys or summaries of what kids are supposed to be doing. They can click on it and they can leave. Or I do this with a lot with adult learners. So this one in particular, knowing the name of it, it's called the Instant GOO.GL URL Shortener and QR Code Generator. So that's one that I use a lot. Another one that I use a lot is, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Amazon. So let's say that I was on and I was searching for a new Urban Junket bag, which are my new favorite work bags for any of you ladies out there. And let's say that I found one that I really liked that I was going to be, that I was interested in. And this one is actually a new, these bags now help charge your devices, which is kind of fun. But one of the extensions that I love is called the Add to Amazon Wish List. So with one click, I can click on it. It adds the link. I can comment on it. I decide that this is, I'm logged into my Amazon account, so I just click, I just put in my, you know, whatever I want, and then one of these is actually, maybe I have to be on one particular one. But it will add it right to my Amazon.com wish list. So I actually don't use the wish list as far as like this is exactly what I want, but I use this as sort of a way to collect information that other people may be interested in as well. So you can just click Add to Wish List, and it's added right to your Amazon wish list. So it's kind of an Evernote clipper, which is kind of nice too. I use this one right here. If let's say that I thought this was a fabulous bag that I thought Emma should have. One of these, instead of copying the URL and sending it in an email, an extension that I use is called Send This Link with Gmail. So with one click, it opens my Gmail. It opens it with a link to that specific website, and then I just have to type in Emma Fish's email and click Send. So then she can have that right there. It gets me right back to browsing on the web. So Send This Link with Gmail is one that I use often too. If you happen to be at a website, such as this one, and you really liked a particular color on the website, another one that I like is called the eyedropper. And the eyedropper, when you click on it, it says, okay, we'll find the exact hex code. So I want to pick a color from a web page. I hover over, and now when I go back to the eyedropper, it's saved my color history and given me the hex code. So for websites that you can actually put in that number, that's a really kind of fun feature there too. So the eyedropper might not be useful for everybody, but it's fun for me. And then one more, let's do the New York Times. Let's talk about the Beijing article again about our person who was at the embassy. Whenever you're reading anything online, and especially for students, there's a lot of advertisements and there's a lot of other things that sort of take up space on the page. Well, one of the apps that I really like is by Evernote, and it's called Clearly. And when I click on Clearly, it wipes all the other things from the article that I don't want to see, and it just allows me to read the article. It'll allow me to quickly copy it and paste it into Evernote too, clip it. But it really, and then I just click the app again with Clearly, and I undo it, and then I have all the other stuff. So it's kind of like removing just all the other fluff that's around. A similar one to that is, let's go into Poolside PD with Ramsey Musalam. I'm not sure if you've seen this video or not, but he's a great person who talks a lot about flip teaching. But this was just a quick little video that I shot of him. But whenever you watch YouTube, you have a lot of comments and other related videos. So an extension that, of course, that doesn't live in this side here, right here, but it actually lives within my Omnibox is something called Turn Off the Lights. So when I click on Turn Off the Lights, it actually darkens all the other stuff around, and I can just simply watch the YouTube video that's on the screen. Okay? And then again, I just click on it to turn off the lights. So that's another useful extension, especially for education. And one last one, let's go to aspensnowmask.com, and we're going to find an image to show you my last one that I want to show you. So I went to Aspen. So if I go to Aspen, Colorado, and I search for the images, I'll show you just one of my fun tools that I like to use on the bottom over here. You can go by color. So let's find Aspen in the fall when it has the yellow leaves in it. So I searched by all pictures. If I click on the image and then also click to see the full-size image here, one of the extensions that I like to use is called PicMonkey, and it's sort of what, when Picnic left, the guys from Picnic went and started PicMonkey. So PicMonkey, I can take it. It sees that there's a picture on the screen, and I want to now edit it. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to take me right to PicMonkey. It's importing that picture that I had on the screen, and now I'm going to be able to do some editing or adding a frame to it or something that I want to do to kind of make my picture look a little bit nicer. Obviously, it's not my picture that I took, so you want to be a little bit careful with that. But looks like this one I would need to go in and crop out all the other white space that's around. But anyway, so PicMonkey is a really nice app because no matter what picture you have on the web, you can just click on the extension, it imports it right away right into PicMonkey. So I'm just going to take just a couple seconds additional time if anybody has any questions. Again, all the information is on the Education on Air. Part of one of the things that I do is put on Google Apps for Education summits, and so these are just 4 examples. We actually just launched a couple international ones today too. So if you're interested in more about Google Apps for Education, you can check out some of these summits, and those will be listed on the website, the Education on Air website too. So any questions or things that I can take from people in the last couple minutes that we have here? Ooh, now I'm sharing my screen of my screen of my screen. I taught you everything you needed to know. There's no questions, right? Did you learn something? Good. That's awesome. Well,
I'll hop in there. We just wanted to thank you, Molly. That was great, really helpful, and thank everyone who was watching both in the live Hangout and also who was watching on Molly's Google Plus page. The presentation will be on Molly's page afterwards, and if you guys wanted to go ahead and attend some more sessions, you can go to sites.google.com/site/EduOnAir. There are many more sessions today, so if you guys want to check that out, you can see if there are any sessions that would interest you later on. Thanks again, Molly.
Thanks, everybody.